Hey guys, this is Cyrock Omega, and welcome back to Let's Play Dragon Age Origins. Last time, we pretty much finished up all of Lothering. It took us like 4 parts to do it. Now I'm ready to get out of this dump. Nope, not that direction. Let's head on out. Quest completed. Yeah, just get through the place. Alright, anyway, let's go forward. Venture forth. Oh man, that place was a dump. I hope it burns to the ground.
Bad dreams, huh?
Yeah, I sleep in my armor, what of it? It seems so real.
Well, it is real, sort of. You see, part of being a Grey Warden is being able to hear the Darkspawn. That's what your dream was, hearing them. The Archdemon, it talks to the Horde, and we feel it just as they do. That's why we know this is really a right.
The Archdemon? Is that a dragon?
I don't know if it's really a dragon, but it sure looks like one. But yes, that's the Archdemon. It takes a bit, but eventually you can block the dreams out. Some of the older Grey Wardens say they can understand the Archdemon a bit, but I sure can't. Anyhow, when I heard you thrashing around, I thought I should tell you. It was scary at first for me too.
Thank you, Alistair. I appreciate it.
That's what I'm here for. To deliver unpleasant news and witty one-liners.
Ha!
Anyhow, you're up now, right? Let's pull up camp and get a move on.
Alright, so now we've got our camp introduced. So this is, if you know anything about BioWare games, that this is just like the Ebon Hawk in like Knights of the Old Republic. What were the other ones? Kind of the base camp in Jade Empire, if anyone knows about that. This is like the Normandy on in Mass Effect. Let's see here. Let's go talk to Puppy first. He's the least offensive.
Oh, why you little?
What? What?
Your furry friend here took offense at me getting near his food. He snapped at me, look.
It was just a warning. He could have taken your hand off.
Don't you think I don't know it? Sometimes I forget that he's a war dog. That'll teach me.
Yeah.
I once heard a really old legend about how the Hound Warriors in the days of the old tribes would feed their Mabari the flesh of the vanquished. Well, that's what I heard anyway. It would sometimes be human flesh. Oh, like you can tell the difference. For all you know, maybe you've already been fed something. Someone.
Oh. Don't let Alistair. Don't listen to Alistair. He's full of rubbish.
Hey!
Look at what your fool dog placed in my pack. A putrid, half-eaten hare is not something a woman wants to find in her unmentionables.
It's the thought that counts. He means well.
The dirty mongrel can have this back. There. and tell him not to do it again.
You heard, lady.
I don't want it, you worthless fur bag.
Oh. You're a mean lady. I think you hurt his feelings.
Oh, he's just trying to be manipulative, I can tell. I do it too.
Ha! Ha!
You are a true warrior and worthy of respect.
Indeed. Oh. Trying to find a way through the earth, are we? It's going to take some time, you know. Well, good luck with that, then. Let's see here. Good doggy. Anything else? Alright. Let's leave them for a little bit. Let's start with Alistair.
What do you need?
I'd like to ask you something.
Ask away.
Tell me about the Grey Wardens.
Such as they are.
I have no more
About the
questions.
Grey Wardens, anyhow. Fair enough. What do you need?
Alright,
Ask away.
let's see.
I already said I wouldn't. The answer is still no.
Alright, that's fine. Yeah, I already did all of his questions. I said everything that, he already told me everything that can be talked about. Let's go talk to Morrigan. That's, I'm gonna save first, though, because knowing her, saying pretty much anything will piss her off. And I'll try and avoid that as much as I can, while still kind of sticking to my character.
What do you wish of me?
I'd like to ask you something.
If you must.
How did you become a shapeshifter? Shape-changer?
I was not born such. 'Tis a skill of Flemeth's, taught over many years in the wilds. The chastened have tales of we witches, saying that we assume the forms of creatures to watch them from hiding. When a child is alone and separate from his tribe, that is when we strike, dragging the young boy kicking and screaming to our lair to be devoured. A most amusing legend.
But it's just a legend, right?
So I assume. My mother has walked the wilds far longer than I. Who am I to suggest what things she has done and not done in her past? Why do you ask? Is there something specific you wish to know?
You spend a lot of time as an animal?
There were nights when the wilds called to me, 'tis true. You look upon the world around you and you think you know it well. I have smelled it as a wolf, listened as a cat, prowled shadows that you never dreamed existed. But my life is as a human. I am under no illusions to the contrary.
And what do other animals think of you when you're changed?
They do not shy away from me. To their senses, I believe I seem like any other of their species. As to what they think, I truly cannot say. Just as I am still human, no matter my form, they are still animals. Thus they cannot speak, even were I to ask.
Can you change into other human forms as well?
The form of an animal is different from my own. One may study the creature, learn to move as it does, think as it does. In time, this allows one to become as it is. I gain nothing by studying another human. I already am the same as they are. I learn nothing. So the answer is no, my human form is the only one I possess.
Can anyone become a shape changer?
Anyone with sufficient will, but the act of transformation is a magical one. 'Tis a spell and thus requires a mage's talents. If you had a notion to learn such a skill for yourself, sadly, you must remain disappointed.
I've never heard of magic like that before.
No? 'Tis not unheard of in the remote corners of the world. There are traditions of magic outside of the circle of magi, despite what those mages would have you believe. Some of these traditions are old, indeed, passed down as carefully guarded lore from one generation to the next. The zealots of the chantry would uproot all such practitioners if they could. But as luck have it, some still exist. My mother is such a one.
Isn't that sort of magic open to abuse?
Not all apostates use the forbidden blood arts. Maleficarum do, but to condemn all who do not fall under the circle's thrall for the sake of what might be is a dangerous path to walk. There are those who look on the word apostate as meaning freedom.
That's all I wanted to ask.
Indeed. Have you an opinion on my abilities, then? Am I an unnatural abomination to be put to the torch?
Maybe tied to a flagpole and tickled. I don't think she'd like that. Sounds kind of funny, though. That would just make you angry, I think.
No doubt it would. But enough of such talk. Let us proceed, lest the dust gather on us.
Alright, didn't actually gain any... she didn't actually disapprove there at all. I'm gonna save again and go for another topic. Yeah, I'm treading lightly with her. I don't actually plan on romancing her, but I want all my companions to like me at least a bit.
What do you wish of me?
I'd like to discuss something personal. Actually, anything
If you
different
must.
here? Alright, yeah. Did you grow up in the Korcari wilds?
Why do you ask me such questions? I do not probe you for pointless information, do I?
I'm curious. What's wrong with that?
Any number of cats could inform you of the answer to that question, but have it your way. What is it you asked? If I grew up in the wilds? A curious question. Where else would you picture me? For many years it was simply Flemeth and I. The wilds and its creatures were more real to me than Flemeth's tales of the world of man. In time I grew curious. I left the wilds to explore what lay beyond, never for long. Brief forays into a civilized wilderness.
And you remained unnoticed?
For the most part, Flemeth taught me well. For all that I had been taught, however, the truth of the civilized lands proved to be overwhelming. I was unfamiliar with so much. So confident and bold was I, yet there was much that Flemeth could never have prepared me for.
Very daring. That sounds like you.
Equal parts daring and foolhardy, perhaps. Only once was I accused of being a witch of the wilds, and that by a chastened who happened to be traveling with a merchant caravan. He pointed and gasped and began shouting in his strange language, and most assumed he was casting some curse upon me. I acted the terrified girl, and naturally, he was arrested.
What happened to the poor man?
Who cares? As I recall, he was executed. The point being that I was able to move through human lands fairly easily. Whatever humans think a witch of the wild looks like, 'tis not I. Not that I did not have trouble. There are things about human society which have always puzzled me, such as the touching. Why all the touching for a simple greeting?
Touching? Like handshake?
To begin with, yes. What is the point of touching my hand? I find it an offensive intrusion. There were many nuances that Flemeth could never tell me of. When to look into another's eyes. How to eat at a table. How to bargain without offending. None of these things I knew. I still do not understand it all, truth be told, but then I gave up long ago any hope of doing so. When I returned to the wilds last, I swore to Flemeth that I had no intention of leaving again.
Well, I'm glad it worked out this way, at least.
Yes? Let's ignore the entire Darkspawn threat and the presence of a simpleton as your only other Grey Warden ally, then. Not that I lack appreciation for the intent of your comment. Thank you. Well, let's get on with it before the ground opens up and swallows us, yes?
Huh. Oh, there we go. We got a little approval. There we go. See? Yeah, it's like she is a little bit, you'd be surprised how important human touch is to other humans, so it actually makes a lot of sense why she's the way she is. Alright, let's save that, let's cherish that one point of approval, because your approval is what feeds me. I need the approval of others.
What do you wish of me?
Let's ask something else?
If you must.
What else? Have you ever been hunted by the Chantry?
You are very cute to ask so many questions.
I don't think I want to... Do I want to be flirty with her? I don't know if I actually want to... I don't know if I want to be... It's almost like a cock tease in a way. It's like I don't really intend to romance her, but... You don't have to answer if you don't want to.
Of course I don't. 'Tis no matter. My mother has been hunted from time to time, yes, by Templar fools like Alistair, which should tell you how successful they generally were. Flemeth made a bit of a game of it, in fact. The Templars would come again, and she would look at me and smile and say that the fun was to begin once more.
You really had no trouble with them?
I am unsure. I was too young to understand, and perhaps 'twas bravado on Flemeth's part, or perhaps she was merely amused. I will never know. Flemeth would warn them, once. 'Twas a warning they inevitably failed to heed. And then the true game began. Often Flemeth would use me as bait. A little girl to scream and run and lure the Templars deeper into the wilds and to their doom.
Did you actually kill them?
Me? No, I never did any of the killing, until later. And even then, Flemeth was a glutton for that sort of thing. Thankfully, the wilds is a vast place. Once they found us, Flemeth would simply move us elsewhere, and we would be lost within the forest once again. I did not understand the danger we faced until I was much older. I had never heard of apostates or maleficarum.
Don't you regret hurting any of those men at all?
Would they have regretted hurting me? I was a young child. Yet do you think they would not have gleefully held my head aloft as a trophy?
Did you ask them?
There are no trials for apostates, no prisons, no mercy. There are only absolutes, so only survival matters. If the wilds have taught me anything, 'tis this. First, you must survive. Do you disagree?
Absolutely. There are worse things than death.
Oh? I would ask what exactly, but I'm certain that would be a lengthy conversation, and suddenly I grow very weary. Enough of this talk. Let us return to the task at hand.
And there we go. Minus 10. Wow. Wow, that's a lot. I don't know if I really want to have to deal with that. Yeah. So I'm actually going to reload and just go for it, and I'm just going to avoid that question.
What do you
Alright.
wish of me?
I just don't want to piss her off too much. 10, I mean, wow. Maybe. Oh, let's
If
add
you
something
must.
else. Is Flemeth really what she seems to be?
Well, that depends, does it not? What does she seem to be?
A human?
Oh, she certainly was human. Once. Tell me, how much do you know of the tale? The one that the chastened still tell of my mother, to frighten them into obedience.
I didn't even know there was such a thing.
Ah, I see. That does explain much. I can relay what Flemeth once told me herself, and you can decide whether or not 'tis the truth, if you desire.
That sounds interesting.
As the tale is sung by the bards, there was a time when Flemeth was young and beautiful, a fair lass in a land of barbarian men, the desire of any who saw her.
Just how long ago is this?
Many centuries, before this land was even named Ferelden. The tales say that Flemeth fell in love with Osen the Bard, and fled the castle of her husband, the dread Lord Conabar, and that he swore vengeance for her infidelity. In truth, my mother claims that 'twas Osen who was her husband, and Conabar the jealous lord who looked on from afar. Lord Conabar approached young Osen and offered him wealth and power in exchange for his lovely wife, and Osen agreed.
He sold his wife to another man?
The life of a bard is a poor one, and love fades in the wake of hunger. 'Twas Flemeth who suggested the arrangement. All would have been well had Lord Conabar kept his end of the bargain. But he was a foul man who bargained with coin he did not possess. Osen was led off to a field and slain, left for dead. Flemeth spoke to the spirits and learned of the deed, and swore revenge.
So she truly loved Osen then?
That was not the point. Conabar had no honor, so she would not have him. Flemeth begged the spirits to aid her, and 'twas they who slew Conabar. The demon the legend tells of came later. Lord Conabar's allies chased Flemeth, you see, chased her to the wilds, and there she hid. There she found the demon, and he made her strong. The legends all speak of the great hero Cormac, he who defeated Flemeth and her great army when she invaded the lowlands centuries later. All lies.
Which? She never invaded, or he never defeated her?
The truth of the matter is that there was never an invasion. As Flemeth tells it, the Chastened never raised an army under her banner, and she never fought with any warrior named Cormac. Cormac led a brutal civil war against his own people, and later claimed it was to vanquish evil that had taken root amongst the lords. Thus, he was hailed a hero. Flemeth was only attached to the legend much later. Perhaps 'twas due to the great war with the Chastened that eventually came, but Mother claims not to know how it began.
How is it that Flemeth has survived for so long?
The demon within her has transformed her into something else. An abomination, perhaps some would say. I know not. I only know my mother is clever, and she is part of the wilds as it is part of her. But she is no immortal. She bleeds. A blade in her heart would kill her like any other, were it lucky enough to find her.
Do you believe her version?
I do not believe everything that Flemeth claims. Oft it seems her bitterness has colored her memories. But on the whole, yes, I believe this tale, if not all.
The legend tells of Flemeth having many daughters.
You
Oh,
ask if I have
questions?
sisters?
I don't know.
I have asked of this myself. The stories tell of many witches of the wilds after all, not just the one. And these tales existed long before I did. Flemeth refuses to speak of other daughters, if they existed. So, should I believe I am her first? I doubt that too.
Why would she refuse to speak of them?
The Chastened tell of a falling out between Flemeth and her daughters. They say that one day she hunted them all through the wilds and ate their hearts. It may be true. I have never seen another witch or heard of one. Perhaps one day Flemeth will eat my heart as well.
Aren't abominations usually insane horrors?
How often is this usually? Always? If not always, then when is it not true? There are more things in this world and the next than you or I could ever hope to understand. What Flemeth became is a mystery. I suspect, even to her.
An interesting story. Thank you.
Flemeth tells it with far more embellishment than I, but you are welcome. Dare I ask of your own mother? Few are abominations of legend, 'tis true, but I find myself curious nevertheless.
My mother died. Recently, in fact.
Ah, then you have my sympathies for what it is worth. Which is very little, I am certain. It matters not. Let us move on.
Alright, see, there we go. +5. Gotta keep working on this.
What do you wish of me?
Alright, anything
If
else?
you must.
Teach others?
I cannot teach you, no. But any other mages that cared to learn, yes, I could do that. Send whoever you wish my way, and I shall teach them what I can in the camp, provided they possess the will to even make the attempt.
Alright. Oh yeah, I got specialization, whatever it is, for a mage. I don't know if anyone else can actually do that, but... Okay, there we go. We've got 7 now. Is that higher than... Is that higher than... It's not quite as high as Alistair yet. Alright, yeah, I'll save that again. I'm gonna keep saving.
What do you wish of me?
I'd like to discuss something personal.
We are in camp, so 'tis as good a time as any.
Why are you still here?
I am here because Flemeth commanded me to aid you. Why? Do you wish me to leave? I can do so if you prefer.
I think I remember how this goes. But, no, I don't want you to leave.
Then I assume our discussion ends here.
There we go. -10 there. Alright, I'm gonna load that up. And that's pretty much all that she has to talk about. So I'll actually stop the recording right here. I think this will be slightly shorter than most, but... Yep, I'd say that's a good enough place to end. I'll talk to Sten, Leliana, and those folks over there next time, or maybe the time after that. We'll see. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm Cyrock Omega, and have a nice day. Later.